Dying Light 2 was announced too early, according to Techland. And by that I mean this article, which is about Techland and Dying Light 2 being announced too early. As you can see from the headline here, it says, Dying Light 2 dev, which happens to be Techland, says it announced the sequel too early, implying that the game was in fact announced earlier than it should have been, hence the point and titling of the video. But, moving on from there, DL2 keeps moving forward, insists the developer, which is a good thing. Always move forward, never backwards, because you move backwards, you'll trip. But you move forward, you can see before you start tripping. So, that's why it's better to move forward than backwards. But anyways, let's read about this article. Techland has acknowledged it may have announced Dying Light 2 too early. In an exchange on the game's official Twitter account, the developer disputed the claims the game was languishing. I can't read words today. I'm sorry. I can't. Languishing in development hell, the term given to games perpetually stuck in the production stage. As far as I know, the definition of a dev hell requires the game to not make any development progress while DL2 keeps moving forward, the response on Twitter said. We announced the game too early, but it's far from being in a dev hell. So, let's see here. So, let's read the tweets. The previous news worries me a lot. I'm still kinda shocked this game feels like dev hell. I hope it's not another Cyberpunk, like, be a good game but broken in lots of missing promises. They only have one goal, create a better story and expand everything else. Give me good news. And so from here we have the official account from Dying Light 2. I'm going to attempt to read this in what I would assume is a corporate account, or just anyone who manages anything like this. You know how cringeworthy a lot of accounts on Twitter can be, so I guess here's a voice to use them, at least for game developers. As far as I know, the definition of a dev hell requires the game to not make any development progress while DL2 keeps moving forward. We announced the game too early, but it's far from being in a dev hell. Tongue out, teasing face. I don't want to do that again for a video, but if I have to, then shit, I must, I guess. But a subsequent tweet added to the same thread also confirmed that the team was testing new technologies to ensure the lengthy development cycle won't have impacted the innovation or technological capacity of the sequel. Remember that we're not staying behind. We're testing new technologies and having our own engine allow us to update it as we please. So you don't have to be worried about the game looking or being outdated mechanics-wise, the tweet said. ICYMI on Friday, the official Dying Light Twitter account, shared a brief teaser slating a dev update for Wednesday, March 17th, which is 3 days away as of this recording, so very soon. And this video will be up tomorrow. So, even sooner, only 2 days! That's not far away, but it'll probably feel at least a month away. So be ready for the very long wait, which in your mind is only long because of the time of illusion and waiting for something to come, but this is why you must distract yourself. But, yes, anyways, before we get off topic, we've got a few words to share with you about the Dying Light 2 development process, the tweet reads. Be sure to be with us next Wednesday. The studio then suggested fans tune into the Dying Light Discord server to hear the news first. After 22 years at the company, the Dying Light 2's writer and former art director, Paul Sillinger, I feel like I butchered it, because of course I would, left Techland, writing in his farewell letter that he wishes Dying Light 2 and subsequent projects will become world hits. While we wait for Dying Light 2, these are the best horror games to play in 2021. Yes, interesting. And then that's a bio. There you go. Yeah, so class, what did we learn here today? Well, what we learned is that games should never be announced too early, which is a mistake we've seen repeated one too many times in gaming, and this is just another one added to the list for the fact that by announcing something too early, you set up expectations to have that game eventually shown at some point or another. And if the game's in a bad place, whether it be in development hell or it's just taking a while, it reaches a point of just being like, okay guys, when are we gonna see it? And if it's not ready, and, you know, we don't have any release dates, and just things keep getting delayed, and things don't sound good, then it's gonna feel like, maybe, just maybe, they should have waited on announcing it. Hopefully, more games will start doing this, especially after the whole Cyberpunk situation. I mean, we had Battlefield 4, Watch Dogs 1, the Master Chief Collection, Assassin's Creed Unity, so many recent examples within just the last decade of what happens when you announce a game too early, and when it's in development hell, when it breaks, when it's broken on launch, when it's just not in a good state, when expectations are too high, and with the announcement being too soon. We've seen this example so many times now that at this point, it's best for games to just shh until they're in a good enough place to be announced, because when they are, they turn out better than they would otherwise. And I just want to go back to this article. Hopefully everything they're saying is true, and they're not just lying and covering up about the fact that the game was actually in development hell. In fact, let's look that up. So I found another article here about how potentially work conditions aren't all that good at Techland, and this could attribute to why the game could potentially have taken so long, and, you know, perhaps they were full of shit. I mean, we'll never know officially until something like Jason Schreier coming out with a story about this happens, because that probably will happen. That seems to happen a lot with many AAA games. But let's read some of this, because I just skimmed through this a little bit, so I just want to read some very interesting parts of this article. Here we go. This paragraph right here: in the last 2 months alone, at least 20 employees have left Techland, according to the report. With the studio's high turnover rate, a source claims Dying Light 2's narrative has been rewritten 6 times or so. Due to the numerous rewrites, one source told the outlet it has no idea what the final product will look like. Here's another paragraph. The testimony shared in the report claimed that Techland is masked by an autocratic management, poor planning, and a toxic work culture that trickles down from the top. The report also claims the company's management has negatively impacted both the morale and the workflow of its employees, which in turn is causing issues in Dying Light 2's ongoing development. So it doesn't sound like things are going very well if this turns out to all be very true, which, considering how often this seems to be a thing in the industry, especially in the AAA industry, there's a good chance some of this is probably true. Because of course it is. Of course it's true. Why wouldn't it be, right? Many of the problems reportedly stem from the high-ranking employees, including CEO Paul March Uwaka. Apologies. You know, I'm not going to keep apologizing for this. I can't read words sometimes. I'm fucking dumb. What do you expect of me? I can only do so much. Sources told the gamer that March Uka and managers at Techland rejected ideas from the studio's experts, which caused roadblocks in the game's development. Whenever an expert starts advising things that are not aligned with the board's agenda, they slowly get isolated from the project and responsibilities, another source tells me. That leads to them leaving or eventually getting fired. To make a career at Techland, you have to be subservient. Well, that's lovely. So, going back up to the top, it appears that this article was put out March 23rd of this year, less than a month ago. Hopefully, things do turn out okay with this game, but I don't know. I feel like it's a mix of, I think that the game taking as long as it has is a mix of both of what these articles are stating. I think it's a mixture of both problems, because it just makes sense for it to be both. It just makes sense. So, yeah. It appears that the game was announced too early, which, yeah, no shit. So, again, hopefully other games will learn from this, but I highly doubt it. I doubt anyone will learn, just like how I doubt anyone is going to learn from the mistakes of being too hyped for games. There's probably going to be plenty of people out there still getting hyped, and by that I mean overhyped, for every single game coming out that looks slightly colorful, you know. Ooh, look at those pretty graphics. Look at those pretty graphics. This game's worth it because of those pretty graphics. I'm buying a PS5 because of those graphics. Ooh. Yeah, no, don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall for those trailers. That shit can be misleading, which I'm gonna get into trailers and all that at some point soon for games, because there's definitely things to say about that. But yeah, there you go. That's the news talk video. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like or dislike, comment, subscribe for future content coming soon, as well as turn on the notification bell and set it to all notifications, and I'll see you all next time. But until then, I'm out. Later.